really happy if you buy a copy, because it's not Doctor Who related. It's not a series of novels. They're all individual novels, but they are about things that I think might interest Doctor Who fans, in that they're all about. They're nearly all in some way about time and about how the different civilizations see each other, and they're mostly exploring the future, the near future, and where we're all going as a society and what's happening to us, and sometimes it travels across time or whatever. So if that interests you, then do try one of my novels.
Fantastic. See Geoffrey for a copy. Is it through Telos as well? These are published.
Sorry?
Through Telos, is it?
No, it's published through Phantom. Phantom Publishing.
Okay, there you go. So you can get it on their website as well. And Ralph, you're quite new to Big Finish, is that right?
I am, yes. It's a sort of big finish as far as I'm concerned. Yes. 2018, I got a phone call saying would I like to repeat Captain Knight's performance, from the Web of Fear, and I said, but I did that in 1968, 50 years ago. I said, it's all right, Ralph, we won't see you. It's all on hearing aids. So I went down, and I was sort of fearful, because I hadn't. Geoffrey is a sort of radio expert. I did a batch of radio in the late 60s, early 70s, and then no one asked me to do any more, which was a pity, because I quite enjoyed it. And it was the name Alex Kingston, whom I've always enjoyed as an actress. I way back from, ER and stuff like that, I've always thought there's a formidable talent. And they intrigued me by saying, that her being a time and space hopper, that she actually appears in the course of the action of the Web of Fear. I'm out with my soldiers, killing Yeti as usual, and trying to stop London from being overtaken. And suddenly this very beautiful girl arrives, and she's trying to steal a painting. I'm not going to do this as a spoiler, because I hope lots of you will
brand new out. So.
Trying to steal a painting which has already been stolen, and she joins in the anti-Yeti effort, etc., and we have a jolly good time together, which ends with her kissing me passionately, in order to rub lipstick all over me so that I don't remember anything. And it's wonderful. It came out on Tuesday of this week, and one or two people brought the bit or said it's in my carpet, because the postman put it through the letterbox this morning, and nobody's listened to it, but I heartily recommend it, because I think it's very good. Everything that's been said about the studios and the people I endorse. Particularly the food, which is just like that, when you pick up these books and say, oh yes, a Mediterranean, oh yes, a Greek thing, oh yes, they're all there, and they're in plenty, aren't they? Plenty, you don't have to sort of hold back.
Oh, I see that.
It's all Toby Roberts.
And I remember particularly that on being driven to the railway station with Alex, who we both got the same railway station, the same train, that she was making sure that the driver, who is the man who does all the cooking and arranges all the food, had made her Christmas puddings. And I did it about, I suppose in November last year, and she wanted to make sure that the Christmas pudding was going to be in the post for her. So, heartily recommended. If you come across him, do eat.
Always good advice. Simon, I believe you've just finished playing Alfred Hitchcock in the forthcoming movie, is that right?
Yeah, well, actually, it's just finished. It's a slight bit. It was actually done about 2 years ago. It's just the post-production. Yeah, that was a very odd one. Again, just a phone call. auditioning to play Alfred Hitchcock, The Ghost of. And it's a film called The Great Director. And the main story is there's a young director wanting to do his first great movie, and it's all going wrong. And he's having sleepless nights, and in his dreams he talks to the ghosts of some former great directors, and I played Alfred Hitchcock. How I got the job was very bizarre. I got the call that I had to go and meet the director, and I don't know what it was like for your generation, but for me, the term meet is very different than having an audition. And anyway, so I did Chris Y is his name, and I went to this place in Soho somewhere, and I met him, and he said, "Oh, he's you." He's a big Doctor Who fan. So it is you. And there was the casting director in the corner. And then this director started listing off things that he'd seen me do, which I was totally amazed, because half of them I completely forgot. And the casting director was saying, "Oh, I didn't know you were in that.
It's a business to for God's sake, get another job."
But it was very interesting, and so I did get the feeling that I was actually be given
Chosen.
if I chose to do it. And of course, the chance was very high. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that was it. So that was that day. I was then due to go to America to do one of these conventions, and I got the message that on the day coming back, as soon as I landed, I had to go and get a costume fitting. So I got off the plane, jet-lagged, I went straight into Soho, went here, and I don't know about many of you, but after a flight, I am in need of a shower. And so they said, would you rather we actually cut your hair? And of course I'm so dopey after the jet lag. I said, yes, do it. So they cut me my hair there and then. And then he said, so I said, so when you went to filming? And they said, we're going to start this evening. I hadn't even had the full script. And then, so that evening, I managed to get a shower. And the way the studio was set up, they were filming another actor playing someone else, and I could hear him. And for some reason, for him, they were doing it line by line. And this was already 6 o'clock. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be here till 1 o'clock in the morning. And I still hadn't had my script. And I kept on saying, is there a script? Yes, don't worry. And so about 8 o'clock, I eventually got a script. And there was still this guy doing his line by line. And I just said to myself, no, I can't do it line by line. But I was very, very, very lucky that the script that they wrote for Hitchcock was easy to get the gist of immediately. So, and I will freely admit, it wasn't word perfect. But I then had to do it that way. It's very strange. Very strange experience.
Yeah, that's very impressive, actually. Because I find it does become more and more difficult to learn lines and to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary how much they assume that an actor can just walk into a studio and do it, even with a long and complicated script.
And I think that
and you can't. Certainly at my age, you really do have to work for a very long time to get. I need at least 5 days these days to learn any script, so that it goes in, so that I can do it easily without, with the character and everything in my head. Also, casting has changed, as you say, enormously over the years. In the old days, you would meet the director and you would read for the director. So you didn't have to learn the lines, you'd have to just read for the director. Nowadays, they expect you, there are so many more hurdles you have to go through. They expect you sometimes, certainly the younger actors, will learn their lines, film themselves, send it to the casting director. The casting director goes through hundreds and hundreds of self-tapes and decides on the 10 who they'll put forward to the director. They send the pictures of the things to the director, and you've been through, you don't know how, you don't have any chance to convince the director that you could do the part. It's just, a very, very lot of hurdles that you have to get through. So it is much more difficult, it's much more...
No, it's very strange, because also what's creeped in more is secrecy. Everything has to be secret.
Yes. You get your name across the script, don't you?
Yeah, but the last one I had a few weeks ago, it had top secret. It didn't tell me what the project was at all. It didn't give me a character name. All it said was any North England accent. And as we know, that is a whole...
Covers a wide area.
So you're thinking, well, what are they looking for? And then on top of that, they sent me a scene from Fargo, which is an American project. And so I had to self-tape that. So in other words, you sort of half learn that. And try and deliver American English in some sort of North England accent. And it's only then that you realise how differently the American scripts are written. You think it's written in some form of English. And Mark Twain said, and it is very, American English is very different. So that was very, very bizarre.
Also, you get them translated, don't you? You get scripts translated from the Russian or something.
Yes.
You've got a Russian film, and they're always very strange things to say.
And then there's no guarantee, because when I send it by email, I send it by WeTransfer or Transfer Now, and when it's opened to the other end, I get a message to say it's been opened. And on this particular script, it hasn't, even to this day, been opened. And when I contacted my agent, I said, because I copied her in, and she had opened hers.
Right.
So I said, I'm just letting you know, you've opened yours, but I've got no message to say that the casting director has opened it. And Kim, she was quite wild. And apparently I was one of 6 actors within that week who'd made the same, because we're not allowed to complain, but we made the same comments. And and of course, agents don't want to upset casting directors, but you do feel if you've been asked to send something, they should at least look at it.
Absolutely.
I think it's very much more difficult for actors starting out these days to make a living and to get experience even, because when we were young we had repertory theatre, and I mean I spent 5 years learning my business, playing all the tragedies and comedies and leading parts and small parts and learning about the business for 5 years before I came to London and tried my luck. Nowadays, thousands of people, maybe who haven't even been to drama school, but who feel that they could be actors, will self-tape, and it's very much bigger field, and you can get lost in it. The noise is so great out there that for a talented actor to make himself heard is quite hard, or herself heard.
I mean, it
quite hard.
It can be very soul-destroying, because there have been times that I've got the role because they happen to like the trousers I was wearing, or they liked the colour of my tie.
Gentlemen, we could talk about this for ages.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, and I wish we had double the amount of time.
It's partly our fault. Partly our fault, because a lot of flash actors a few years ago, decried rehearsal. I know this scene, I can do this scene, And eventually, companies like the BBC started shortening rehearsal and giving up rehearsal rooms. And the story I told earlier, it is now a furniture repository. And the BBC had to sell it off when they stopped producing their own stuff. And now all these little companies, who vie for our work, want quick results because they haven't got a sort of organisation like the BBC behind them. So all these shortcuts and ways of doing it are partly our fault, But as my 2 companions have said, it is a different country.
There was a time and motion study apparently that went round in the 80s when it was all a matter of efficiency. You
Yeah.
see. And some high executive came round to watch rehearsals,
Yeah.
and she said, well, why do you need to rehearse? I don't ask my plumber to rehearse laying the pipes.
Thank you very much. It's very, very interesting, but I'm being waved at from off stage. So
Sorry about that.
If we could have a round of applause for a fantastic guest. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you, Geoffrey, and Simon and Ralph. Now, it's the penultimate